Of course.
Welcome to I Get Sad podcast. Soy Jasmine, junto con
Marta?
Jessica.
Somos hijas y hermanas explorando el complex journey de grief y healing. Queremos abrir conversations about grief, ese tema que todos avoid, pero es tan esencial para healing. En cada episodio vamos a hacer share personal stories, interviews y tips para coping. You'll hear heartfelt discussions from us, guests, han vivido through loss, and we'll talk about todos tipos de grief, from losing a loved one hasta grief that made your life changes. Whether you're grieving or supporting someone que está en duelo, te invitamos to join us. Juntos podemos crear una comunidad que truly understand los complejos de grief. Gracias for being here. Let's start this important conversation about grief and finding meaning. Hoy hablaremos un poquito about ourselves y por qué we started este podcast. Y si quieres más content like this, please subscribe. No pierdan el next episodio. Dale subscribe y let's grow esta comunidad together, porque grieving together means healing together.
What drew us to this podcast was siempre Martha, Jasmine, all of us lost somebody within the same time, within a year. And todo el tiempo we were either calling, texting, messaging each other. Today was a hard day. Did you do this? Did you walk through this? In one of my talks with Marta, she had a hard day that day, and I had a hard day the day before. And I was driving, and then it just popped in my head, hey, we need a podcast. Tenemos que normalizar being able to talk this with other people because, if a lot of people are grieving. So right away, I called Martha. Martha called me back. I go, we should do a podcast. I go, and let's tell Jasmine. And that's how we started this community of I Get Sad. And we hope that you guys like it and can relate and not feel so alone, because nobody's alone. You might not have the Jasmines and the Marthas in your lives, but now you have us three to be able to connect and feel like all the things that you think are weird or maybe not so normal really are. Stay tuned.
We're going to say a little bit about ourselves. ¿Cómo te llamas and where we are from?
Well, I'm Jessica Araiza. I'm born and raised in Yuma. I'm married. I have Araiza. I have 4 kids, 3 grandkids. I'm one of 10 girls, no brothers, not needed. And here, I lived in LA for a little bit, but then I always came back to my roots because my family's here and this is where I want to stay, in Yuma. Jasmine?
I am Jasmine. I live in Phoenix, but I go to Yuma a lot. Everybody thinks I live in Yuma. My family is in Yuma. I lived in Phoenix since 2002. I have 3 little ones. Been married for 23 years. And I'm a photographer. I'm trying to get back into the groove of things. Just enjoying life, y'all. Missing my brother, but enjoying life.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Martha, born and raised in Yuma. I have 3 boys, been married for over 26 years, and I have a daughter-in-law who I consider my daughter. It's just like Jasmine said, just trying to enjoy life, but missing my mom. So here we are connecting.
As you guys know, I lost my mom 2 years ago. The girls are going into their first year of grief. So I'm interested in to know, when did you, Jasmine and Marta, start to understand or start feeling the grief? Like what was the moment that hit it for you, Marta?
Oh, God, yeah. So for me, it wasn't even saying goodbye to my mom. I mean, that was just a different feeling than grief itself. When I walked out of the hospital, it still just didn't feel real. We all gathered back at my house and made dinner, and we're like frozen in time, it felt like if we left something behind and we couldn't figure out what it was and how to get it back, but didn't really understand it. And someone told me, a relative of mine told me that he had lost his mom a couple years ago. He was saying goodbye to me and he said, you know what, gorda, they call me gorda, by the way, everyone. He's like, I can tell that it really hasn't hit you. No te ha pegado bien todavía. Y yo, what do you mean? Tú te vas a dar cuenta. Next day, I got up and I fell to my knees. I fell to my knees because ya estaba sola. My dad ya estaba en su casa. My sister estaba en su casa. Yo estaba aquí with Joe and the kids, and I just fell to my knees. I can't even explain it. I got up and I just hit the ground. I was like, couldn't breathe. I was like, "What the fuck? My mom's gone." Like, no, 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 no. Wait, wait, wait. This can't be real. I was not supposed to lose my mom. My mom was 63. This cannot be happening. She did not just die from an infection. Like, how? Like, she survived cancer. She couldn't have died from this. And so it just was really confusing. And I texted him. I felt it. And now I know what you meant. And it's horrible. And he just told me to have grace with myself. Ever since then, I've been trying. But for everyone out there in jazz, and Jess, you tell me, it just feels like that hits a lot though, right? Like, what? She's dead? Like, it hit me all this week. All this past week, I've had a rough week. Thinking like, no, 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 no. Waking up y como una niña llorando, like, what? Like, my mom, no le puedo hablar. Like, I just called her on Monday, thinking like, oh mom, ¿qué crees? You know, un chisme. But that's just, I'm curious to know how Jazz or you guys, when it hit you guys.
Jasmine, when did it hit you?
When I truly felt it, I think everybody too, kind of how your uncle told you, Martha, that you felt like it hadn't hit you. Everybody was like, you're doing great. Even my husband. And I would get so upset. Like I'm holding it together, but I'm dying inside. And they're like, you're doing great. And I'm like,
Hmm.
fuck, I'm freaking dying inside. But when it finally, I couldn't hold it anymore. And I think I just started to realize it heavily was when my dad's birthday happened about 3 months after Ernie passed. We were doing photos. My sister was like, I was trying to do a group photo with everybody that was there, which was my aunts, my cousins. Like, I wasn't trying to do a family picture of us because that just didn't feel right to me. And so then when my sister was like, come on, Jasmine, let's do a sibling picture. I about had a heart attack. What do you mean a sibling picture? Like, we're not all here. That was like a stab to my heart. Wanted to cry. I looked at everybody and I just felt like I had to keep it together, but inside I wanted to cry. Like my eyes did get watery. And then it was like, come on, mom. And then, we did a sibling photo. And then it was my mom, and then my mom's bawling. Like she didn't feel right doing it either. Like she was bawling, like, how are we doing a family photo without Ernie here? And it
Yeah.
just felt wrong. I drove home that night, or the next morning, I'm sorry, en la madrugada. And I just cried the whole time. Like, just that moment, just after that, that's when it really hit me that he was gone. How about you, Jessica?
And I'm in the front. We were all on speaker, and my baby sister was there, and she let us know she was gone. We were numb for like a few minutes, and we wanted to meet up the two cars to what the hell just happened, and we couldn't. So we stopped at Chevron, like on Dateland or whatever the hell that was. And I couldn't get off the truck. My sisters got off with my husband, and they were going to get water, snacks. At this point, we're all numb because when you hear the news, it doesn't hit you. But there's like this adrenaline, this numbness. Time stops. You're not in your body. And I could just hear my mom's gone, and I felt it. I felt my mom leave, and I couldn't physically get out of the truck with my sisters. So I stayed in the truck and I bawled. And it's not like me to cry, but I couldn't get off. My mom's gone. And I knew that I was going to Phoenix just to see her, just to say goodbye, but she was already gone. That's the first moment that I remember. I'm going to start living without my mom. And then it hit me in waves after that. It did hit me the day that I got the news. It was that moment for me. But I had already experienced other losses, but my mom's obviously my biggest loss. But that's the moment it hit me in the truck on the way to see her. When my baby sister called us and we were all on speaker. I couldn't physically get off the truck. I just was like, I was my legs and I remember looking at my legs and I was like, no, I'll just stay here. And I bawled. Everybody's different. Everybody's experience is different. But for me, for my mom, that day that I heard the news,
Yeah. And girls, what's one thing you wish people knew about grief?
that it doesn't go away, that you're going to live with it forever. It's something you are going to learn to live with. It doesn't expire. It's like love. Love doesn't expire. You're going to feel it all your life. It's not a grudge. It's not a misunderstanding. It's not something you can fix. It's something you learn you're going to live with.
Yeah.
Think grief is becomes a part of your identity, and I think people don't get that. Grief becomes a part of your identity, and it's just like the new relationship that you're gonna have with that person that's gone now. Just because they left, you don't. I don't think people fully understand what grief means. Grief is the relationship that you're carrying with your loved one that left. We're trying to learn to coexist with a new relationship with them not physically here. And I think that's really hard for us to explain because it's like you really have to be there to, I think, understand it. But like we wanna we want to we can't change the past, right? But we want to change the reaction that we have with it. And I think starting here with us is like a really good way of trying to understand grief or just know that we're not alone, kind of how Jessica said earlier. Like, hopefully, it helps people that are not grieving or supporting someone that is grieving understand a little bit of that
100%.
relationship with grief.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with everything you guys said. It's just I read a lot. I mean, I try to connect with books, audiobooks and podcasts just to try to understand what I'm feeling because it is our very big first big loss in our family. Um and what I keep hearing is what I keep reading and hearing is that there's a new version of you that's born after your loved one dies, right? And I get so mad at that phrase. I don't know why. And I know it's true, but I want to go back to the old version of me where I was so nonchalant about life. And if I was at work really busy and my mom would call me, Gorda, te hice caldo de res, tu favorito, ándale, ven, mija. Mom, estoy trabajando, ya sabes que no puedo. And I would get so mad at her because she'd FaceTime me at work. And I would tell her, you cannot FaceTime me while I'm at work. I'm either driving in the car or I'm in the office. You can't do that. "Ah, pues que te quiero ver, me decía. And so that, those little thoughts of that old version versus the new version, the new grief reality, until it hits you and until you've been through it, you don't know you're going to miss it. You don't know you're going to miss the old you where you thought you were not having a good day, where you thought life was shitty, where you thought you were stressed at work. That is so unimportant anymore. Like once you hit grief and grief hits you, ya no importa nada de eso. No existe. La persona que quieres hacer like you want to be happy, not for you even. Sometimes you just want to be happy for your family so they don't see you this way. But it's so hard to manage it and level it, balance it, life, my hands are over here. Life, kids, work, loss. And then, you have to perform if you're working. You have to be all in or you're considered hey, you know what? Get your shit together. But you're just like, I'm trying. I just don't know how, you know? I was told that all loss is the same, whether it's death or divorce or breakups. I'm thinking, wow, that comes from someone who hasn't been through grief. I'm sorry, because I've been through breakups and not divorce, but heavy breakups. And when I heard that, I was like, one thing I would like people to know is if you haven't been through grief, don't compare it to another loss. And that's,
I also feel like grief is something very personal. There's no right way to grieve. Everybody's different. Everybody's timing is different. Everybody's coping is different. Some people go to the cemetery every day. Some people don't. People come home and put their things away right away. Some people leave it for years. But all those things are normal. All those things are okay. The way I coped with my mom doesn't necessarily mean Martha's coping the same with her mom. We could be night and day. but the feeling's the same. The journey's the same. The void is the same. We just go about it different ways. And that's just one thing I would want people to respect. Like, respect the way I'm mourning my mom. That works for me for that day. Maybe it doesn't work the next day. I have to do something different. But for that day, that's what worked. That's what I had to do to keep it going.
I love.
There's not a day that I don't think of my mom, that I don't miss her, that I don't need her. Do you have to put up this front like, hey, we got it together? Like, yeah, I lost my mom, but I got it. But you don't know what I did that morning or that night to be able to give you that. This Jessica, off the wall Jessica. But
Yeah.
grief is personal. And I just want people to respect everybody's grief. Whether you post things every day or you don't mention it at all, or you clam it, or you're very open. I love that. If grief is personal journey to me, everybody's different. Nobody should criticize anybody else's grief. Like, be there. You
Yeah.
don't even have to understand it. Just be supportive.
Just sit there with us, right? Like this
Yeah.
podcast. I'm gonna hop in real quick. Jessica told me something when I was going through recently the days. Me dijo, la sé, mi niña, she called me mi niña, by the way. She goes, people eventually are going to stop checking in on you, and that's okay. La sé, that's normal, porque no lo entienden. Dice, even I'm going to stop checking in on you, she told me. And I was like, why? Thinking, don't people know I need them? I need them here with me. I'm grieving. Everybody needs to grieve. The world can't keep going. My mom said, why is everybody moving on? Why is everybody going to the movies? Why is everybody at a party? My mom's dead. No, you sit with me here and be sad with me. But it's true. If you're a first time griever, like you just lost someone, don't be surprised. And it's not their fault. They just don't understand it, and people move on. You just feel like you can't because you left them behind and you're holding on to that, right? But people move on and it's okay, I guess. We can't blame them for that.
Speaking of respecting how people grieve, I don't know if you guys want to share a little bit of like what's your go-to method when you are feeling difficult emotions, like on your heavy days.
I come from a very large family, but I'm also very private with my feelings. So this podcast is a big deal to me, to my sisters, to everybody, because I'm not a big emotional person. You guys know that. I'm not a hugger. I'm like, you got this.
Are you crying? Here's some food.
Yeah. The buzz ball?
Yeah.
Not
What's your
something?
love language?
Just kidding. But for me, I have to process it alone at first. Usually because I have kids and, the family thing, it's in my car with a song that reminds me of my mom. And if I cry it out and I belt it out and then I suck it up before I get to my next stop, my dad's house, wherever, that's how I grieve normally when I'm missing my mom. I have to do it alone. I have to think about her alone, talk to her. And that's for me, that's like my go-to is like get in my car, put on a song that reminds me of her, that makes me think about her and just cry it out. And I have like a short amount of time to do that because, well, Yuma, the streets are really little, but that's what I do. And then after, I'll text one of my sisters or, text you two, one of you, like, or you put a post and somebody catches on like, hey, today's not a good day. And then you can vent. But normally that's my go-to is just me in my car with the song that reminds me of my mom.
Yeah.
What
Song
about
is
you
that?
guys? For me, when I'm missing her and I want to cry is Annie, Te Confieso. Like that song just it breaks me down every time I hear it. If I'm not thinking of my mom and it comes on, it'll like take me there to that moment. Because that's the one song that pins me to my mom's death. Like that she's gone. So I love that song because once I cry, for me, I feel a little sense of like relief. I can move. I can start over the next day. Like, yeah, se me acabó el pancho. Let me regroup and go. What is it for you, Jess?
For me, it's getting looking at all his videos, all his pictures, go through his phone, and I know I'd mentioned this before. I really try to dedicate a day. It doesn't always work out that way. I call it Blue Mondays, but it hasn't been happening on Mondays lately. Ever since his birthday, I feel it happening. I can't control it. You can't schedule it as much as I was trying to, although I try to dedicate a time to it. But I like to write about it, and for me it's posting. I used to blog before, so like that's just my way of writing and posting. And I know it's sometimes like I just did my first vulnerable post and I was like, do I really, it was awkward, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to record myself crying? And I had already done the ugly, ugly crying. So I just got the end of it and I was like, do I really? But I was like, no, you know what? I want to record this moment. Just show people that like you guys see me out or and I don't even go out that much, but when you see me smiling, but and behind every smile, let me tell you, it's there. It's there. It's not going anywhere. And so that's why I think I did that just to just it helps me feel better, first of all. Just writing it out, watching videos, pictures, anything that has to do with Ernie. But I felt that at that moment, just posting a video and showing my vulnerability would kind of show people like, all right, give them a like this, yeah, this is not going away.
Yeah.
¿Y tú, Marta? ¿Qué haces?
What really stood out first, what Jasmine said is that, you know, smiling on the outside and on the inside, you're a different person. I think we've messaged about this, right, girls? Where we're like, is it normal where everywhere you go, you look fine, but you feel dead inside, like nothing feels okay. It's just like you're floating through life, right? I cry a lot. There hasn't been a day where I don't cry. When she first passed, I would cry, scream outside. I would walk outside. I wouldn't sleep. I would walk outside my yard and just scream. My yard's really big, so I could scream. Probably my neighbors thought I was crazy, but just scream just to like del dolor, así gritaba. Y me sentaba, and I went through a phase where I was shaking. I wouldn't stop shaking. My body was shaking 24/7. And my husband would say I'd be crying in my sleep and I was shaking. And I have my ring that tracks my heart rate and everything. And I would just get alerts that to watch my heart rate. Pero puro llorar, puro llorar. And till this day, I don't cry as much as I used to, but I still hurt the same. And that's what I try to tell my husband. I go, I know you think that I might be fine because we go out and we do this. We do go out a lot, right? And it seems like people would say, "Ay, ya está bien, está saliendo." No, it doesn't work that way. When you're alone, te entra la soledad. And even when you're outside, in your head, you're thinking about Ernie, Marta, my mom. We're not never thinking about them. She's the first thought on my mind every morning and before I go to bed. And I talk to her as much as I can, but not out loud. And one thing that really helped me, Jess told me my message for the other day, and she told me, do something for your mom. What would she like to do? Honor her, cook a recipe, write a letter. And I wrote a letter to her the first time of everything I wanted to tell her that I didn't get to tell her. Everything I feel like my dad is doing that I don't like, or my brother or my sister, and who I'm mad at. And did you know, le dije yo, that you left and you're not even going to get to see Aaron graduate, my youngest son? Did you know that? I go, what did you think about that before you left us here? Like, even telling her things that would make me mad when I would think about her. So it's just like thoughts, not sentences, just scrambling thoughts. And I told her, ahí le dije muchas cosas. Did you know I talked to your plants? And I said, I don't even know where that came from, pero empecé a hablar con tus plantas como loca, como tú le hacías. And it doesn't help, le dije, me hace llorar más, but thank you. Now I have practically all our plants here. And so I got to water them. And when I water them, I'm like, did you know it takes forever to water your fucking plants? So that's what helped me. That letter really did help me. And I gave my sister that advice. Porque ella es más cerrada, es como la Jessica, también es más callada, más seria. She doesn't let go of a lot, and it's really hard for her, pero cuando está sola lo hace. So I told her, I gave her that idea, and she really said, "That's a great idea." So I hope she did it because it did help. Writing that letter did help. So thank
Oh,
you for
It really does help me. But that's kind of like what I do. Any of you guys have like a ritual or a practice that bring you comfort, like daily for your mom or anything? You, Jessica, that you've been. you're ahead of us on this journey.
Nene, cuando voy a una parte that I feel she would have gone with me or should be there, I have a little necklace that has her picture that I was gifted by my friend and my hada. They both gave me a different two. So I make sure to take her with me and make sure, because to me she's there with me, she's seen it. But I don't really have a ritual. It's just whatever I feel at that moment, I do that. If it's talking to the cup that Marta gave me the day my mom passed, if it's wearing a shirt que era de ella that I took from my dad's closet, or just talking to her. I talk to her every day. Every day I talk to my mom. There's not a day I don't talk to her. Que no le chismeo. And I don't talk to her like I know Martha's hurting. Now I talk to her like le estoy chismeando. Yes. Like I talk to her like I would have every day. Like when I call her, I would call her when I call her. Cuando le hablaba, llama, que no sabes qué. So if I'm feeling, ay Marta, a que no sabes qué. And I'm just like talking to myself like a crazy person, you would think. But no, I'm talking to my mom and I'm having a conversation and I know what she's going to say back to me. I knew what she would have said back to me. No, no, no. You know, I could hear her. So I'm talking to her and I'm answering myself back with her voice. And that's what I do for most days, you know, or the days. My days right now, I'm on my second year. They're not every single day. They're a lot better. Little things will trigger them, but I talk to her every day, but they're not as draining right now. With this time, I'm not like in that mood. All I want to do is cry. I've been there. I understand where you guys are at because I was there. I'm a little bit past that. So
And hearing that, this is what the podcast is about, right? Hearing that gives us hope, right? Because I ask every day to myself, I'm like, así voy a estar toda mi vida, así, deprimida, like not wanting, not finding happiness in anything, right? And I go back to Jessica shared that song with me when my mom passed, and my dad listens to it every morning when he takes a shower. Me dijo Joe when he went to California to work. He has a playlist, and that's like his go-to song for my mom. And mine is Enséñame by Karin Leon. If I hear that song, Te me enchina el cuerpo, and I see her in a casket. I picture her in that casket, and it's like the worst thing was seeing her in the casket, not even on the hospital bed. It's the casket for me. It's the first look. I was like, que te tiras al suelo, que your loved one, ¿cómo puede ser? So that song's on repeat, and if I play it, olvídate. But there's no ritual for me either. I wish I had one to honor her every day, but all I do is cry for her right now. And I don't talk to her yet like chismeando. I did on the letter, but right now it's like when I talk, it's in my head. Is that anybody else? Is it like I don't really do out loud? It's just kind of like in my head. Like we're going back and forth, like this conversation. But it's like people would probably think I'm crazy because I'm moving or doing things, but I'm not. Nothing's coming out. But Jazzy, tú?
I do both. I talk to her in my head and then I talk to her out loud. But Jasmine?
Yeah, I do both. And I did a post about it on my TikTok about how I have a conversation with Ernie about something and I answer for him because I could hear he's always all optimistic and positive, and I can hear him telling me, "Shake and bake, sis." That was his thing, shake and bake, shake and bake. I'm like, okay, Ernie, I'll shake and bake it off. You know what I mean? But I'll look at his picture and I'll just be like, okay, brother, just let me cry. You didn't get to experience losing a sibling. Like, let me cry it out today. And I fight with him. And I have a picture of him when we were little. I'm strangling him literally. And I'm like, I'm mad at you. This is the picture for the day. I'm going to strangle you. Why did you leave me?
Yeah.
And people don't know that. They're like, oh, it's a cute picture. I'm like, because I'm mad at him because he left and he should be here. But yeah, it's hard.
Would love for the followers to leave if they do have a ritual, you know, on the comments. That would be cool. I want to know what other people do. Because I know between us three, well, we know what we do with each other, but I also want to learn from other grievers. Like, what do you guys do? Maybe that'll work for me. Maybe I've been doing something or it'll help you guys like to move forward. you guys get my advice, my experience, but other viewers have maybe doing other things that have longer years of grieving, that can help us. But the grief, Martha, you just said like it gives you hope. I have my good days and then I'll have a really bad day. Like the day of the storm, woke up wanting to call my mom. It's 2 years. I should know by now that I can't call my mom. But I
Yeah.
woke up, I'm like, I need to call my mom. And yo sola me dije, God, what's wrong with you, Jessica? Ended up, I was like, oh my God, it's the end of the day. I haven't called my dad. I didn't go, I had a bunch of stuff and I didn't see my dad. So I was going to call my dad, but I still have my mom's contact in my phone. I don't want to delete it. And I pressed her number by accident and I was like, oh my God. And I turned it off. I hung up. Well, the number called me back. And I'm looking at the phone like my mom's contact. And I'm like, it's on my mom. It's on my mom. I'm like, oh my God, alguien tiene el número de mi mamá? And then I
Imagínate.
just saw it and I let it ring because I just wanted to see how it felt when she would call me. So I just let it ring. I'm like, okay, I looked at it. And then it texted me. And I was like, this the número. And I looked at
Uh-huh.
the text and I was like, man, we would text each other stupid stuff all the time. Me and my mom had that kind of relationship. We would just text each other. Nunca nada serio. And I looked at it, I was like, God, I wish it was a real text. And then le puse, no, perdón, disculpe, marqué mal.
Uh-huh.
But it got to me that moment, like my mom's number's taken. It's no longer her number. I still didn't delete it, by the way. It's in my contact. Me and that person can have a relationship. I'm gonna send that lady or man dirty memes all day. Back.
Yeah.
But that did happen. It kind of dragged me down that evening. And then Rodolfo, my husband, tells me, he's like, your mom has a new number. And I looked at him and I said, but I don't know it. And then that moment triggered me. And then the next day I felt like a little off, but then you kind of learn to have the moment and get yourself out of it. Everybody has, I feel like that. I had my moment and I was like, get the hell out. You got things to do. Let's go. And I had my moment and I put it away and I kept it going.
Why do you feel like you have to put it away? I do the same thing. Is it because we have to put a front y
No,
nadie nos quiere ver triste o
for me, I feel like I have to put it away because if I don't, it'll consume me for the rest of the day. And then I'm
yeah.
not productive and then I can't do anything. I'm in my feelings.
Mhm.
We have a family to cater to. I have the kids. I don't know. I just feel like if I'm in that mood, I'm not a productive person. In my
Yeah.
feelings, I want to be alone. No quiero hablarle a nadie. And I can't do that. I have Gigi and my grandkids that I pick up from school. That's the only reason why I have to have it because it'll consume me for the day. And I
Yeah.
go through my moment and I put it away. But in the beginning, I didn't put it away. I let it
Yeah.
consume me. I let
I
those
haven't
days
learned.
drag
I
me.
haven't learned how, so I hope to. Como te digo, we're learning from each other también, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Me da gusto oír que you are learning how to, transition into
I
what
put a
the
happy
productive
song
Jessica.
de mi amiga. I think of a happy thought. I don't always put confieso. When I want to cry for her, I put that. When I want to think of her happy, como era ella, pongo Marisela, pongo,
Mhm.
all the greats, those bookies. I can watch her mopping, cleaning, cooking, Thanksgiving, nosotros jugando lotería, talking crap. Then I put a song that reminds me of her in a happy state. And then that's what I do for my mom. Like when I want to, like, le quiero llorar porque la extraño because I want to feel her presence. I put the Cani Garcia song or I have other songs. But when I want to snap out of it and I want to be like, okay, mom, go rest. I got you. I'll put a happy song. And then I think of her super young in her prime, a baddie, us joking on road trips, making fun of Rodolfo, my dad, because we were bullies. I think of that and that's how I try to get out of
Yeah.
L- Last week, we went to Knott's Berry Farm with the kids, and it just brought back so many childhood memories because it was Disneyland for us, but it was my first time at Knott's. My kids, I kept saying, my kids suck. They don't want to do roller coasters. Like, who comes to a theme park and not do roller coasters? So I text my two siblings, Lizette and Armando, And I'm like, my kids suck. I was like, they don't want to do roller coasters. I was like, take me back to 1990. But in that moment there, I was texting them and I was really upset that I only text them two, right? Because it should be four of us in the sibling text. But I just couldn't get over it. It wasn't so much that my kids suck. It just took me back to being a kid and doing these summer things with all my siblings. Yeah, they responded like even after that, I couldn't get over it. And I know my husband noticed that I was just not happy there. I was trying to enjoy the moment and I even ended up getting a margarita and I was like, okay, let me see if I could calm, like get out of this whatever I'm feeling. But I was really taken back. I was like feeling nostalgic and upset and like all these feelings came about. So on the road back home, we were listening to rock en español and that was on Labor Day. I, rock en español, every all of our family listens to it, but then like these specific songs that really reminded me of Ernie and that we did play at his on his slideshow and stuff came out and then I just was like bawling on the road, bawling home, but like trying not to like I had my sunglasses on and the kids were in the car, so I was trying to like be discreet about it. And the following day they went to school and I think that's when I messaged you guys that I was having a really hard day. I couldn't get over it. It didn't matter what I did. Jessica was like, put on some Tupac and I'll snap out of it. Sometimes it'll help here. But I couldn't, and I just wanted to scream, and I wanted to just, like not even writing about it helped me at that moment, like, that's when I recorded myself crying, but, like, I wanted to drink, like, I just wanted to, like, let it out, and I feel like when I don't allow myself to drink right now for that reason, really, because I feel like it's gonna be a mess, like, and
Mhm.
maybe I need that. I wanna get wasted, like, one day just to, like, allow.
Cuando vengas. ¿No has venido?
I know,
Well,
I'm
road
coming
trip, we're gonna
in.
have to go to you.
Or that.
Yes. But
Let
I
me
just
get through the busy season heat, I promise.
let's do it. But yeah, I just feel like when you think like you're letting it out, or I know you're going through it. We're all going through it, right? But like I know Marta, you said you just recently started feeling it more heavy, like that
Mhm.
haven't been able to. I feel like I'm there again. I feel like I went through and I was like, okay, I think I'm getting, and then it's like, haha, no, you're not. And then like Ernie's birthday came and I feel like ever since Ernie's birthday, I just can't get it together. But then also, Labor Day, my birthday was coming up and I think also hesitant that I'm not gonna hear from him. He was always one of the first people that texted me or called me. I don't know, I wasn't looking forward to it. It was like, "What are you doing for your birthday? What are you doing for your birthday?" And I'm like, "I don't wanna do anything." And although I'm blessed that my friends were like, "We're gonna take you." They literally kidnapped me, Jessica, took me to the spa for a
Kudos
whole
to those
day.
friends. Sometimes it takes that. Sometimes you don't want to do nothing. You don't feel like moving on. Like you want to be left alone. But it's that one person like, no, 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 no. Ándale, levántate. Let's go. We got this. Like sometimes somebody si te ocupa sacudir and like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Yeah. Come on. Let's get out. Let's do this. And that's so needed to allow yourself like, all right, even if you're in a funk there con la cara de like, ugh, like I don't want to be here. I miss my mom. But once you go back home, you're like, I needed that. Like, I
Yes.
hope it did that to you, Jazz. You're right. It's like, it kind of like recharges your soul a little bit to like not be so in the funk as deep as you were. Like maybe you're still not way out of it, but you're not as deep, and you're like, here we go again. Try it. Let's try this again. New day.
Yeah.
It definitely did while I was there. It did help, but like I think I was just feeling like like with you guys, obviously we can talk about it, but it's just something that, we were having a conversation about, I don't even know what, but everything reminds me of Ernie somehow, some way. And it was something
Mhm.
about health reasons. And I was like, no, Ernie would have said this. And I felt like a pause, a moment of silence, like it was uncomfortable at that moment for them that I mentioned his name. I'm like, no, like I can mention his name without crying about him. But that's where I'm at right now, that I'm like, I want people to know that we can, even if we trigger on our own, right? But like, I feel like we should be able to talk about them without other people feeling like, oh, you know?
Yeah. You're right about that. I now that know what it feels like I'll mention my mom's name and it's okay for me to mention it. And I want people to mention her too. But before I had lost her, I would be afraid if someone lost somebody, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like that I brought them up. Pero porque no, right? Eran una parte muy grande de nuestra vida y siguen siendo. Y tenemos que decir los nombres. And it's okay to say them. If you haven't been through grief and someone you know or you love has been, it's okay to say their loved one's name, I think personally.
I do too. But I also think like we're afraid to trigger them. Like don't make them
Yeah,
sad because it
yeah,
can happen. So I think we're kind of like, do we not talk about it? Like, we also don't want to relate that person just to that. Like, I don't want to
yeah,
meet up with you and Martha Jazz and be like, this is all we talk about, like it's healthy, it's helpful. I think sometimes I've done it like, okay, I'm not going to talk about them unless they do, like I think that's what happens. So when they do, I think the other people, because I'm on both ends, I'm like, hey, today's a good day to talk about them. Okay, let's talk about them.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think it's like the elephant in the room. It's more like, do you want to bring them up?
yeah,
Let me talk about
yeah,
them today. Okay.
yeah. And it feels nice sometimes when they do because they're thinking of them
Yeah.
as well. Like they haven't forgotten her just because she's not here, or Ernie or Marta.
I
Let
will
me
never
ask
let
you,
anybody forget my
let me ask you, ladies, ¿cuál es tu biggest fear about sharing our stories publicly? Your story publicly?
Obviously, for me, if you follow me on my page, I'm a jokester. I post puras babosadas and I don't really post a lot of personal stuff. It's always like buzzballs, drinking, stupid things. So when I'm sharing now this, and I'm not a vulnerable person to a lot of people, it takes a lot for me to be vulnerable or to even open up. So for me, sharing my mom's story, yeah, right, her life. That she just went out. They went on vacation. They did this party for their dad. They did this. Doesn't mean I wasn't grieving my mom. It doesn't mean I don't miss my mom. It doesn't mean I don't wake up in a mood or que no estoy pensando en ella. It's just the people that not everybody that's in my life or that follows me is gonna know about my grief. I don't want to share that part with you. But now I'm sharing it with the world. Well, that's the only part for me. All those people that I purposely kept out of my grief because I either felt not close, not we didn't connect, or you don't understand, or you don't need to know, we don't have that relationship, whatever. It wasn't even just friends; it could have been family members too. Now I'm opening it to strangers, people I have no idea, and I'm gonna allow these criticisms, good, bad, ugly, in. And that's kind of nerve wracking to me because I'm not a vulnerable person. I don't allow myself to be open to just anybody, and here I am to opening up to the world.
Be nice. On me, I'm not afraid of sharing the story because I am more vulnerable probably. Like I see where Jess is coming from. I always have to squeeze those tears out of her. But yo soy bien sentimental y bien llorona and I love to talk about anything that'll help anybody else out there. And I think that's why Jess was so brave enough to do this because she wants to help other people out there. And that's just my main goal. I feel like I'm not afraid to share the story, but afraid of oversharing the story, if you know what I'm saying, because I am an oversharer. I will just, if you tú dame una entradita and I'll overshare completely.
And I overshare with very not used to. I need to learn my role here and share. And I'm here to be here, obviously, for each other, right? But I also need I guess, the fear of like letting go and letting people hear me out as well.
Yeah.
I just hope it can relate. I just want people to relate. I want people to walk away like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm having a day like Marta. Today's a really hard day. Or today, like Jasmine, I couldn't enjoy the theme park. Or maybe like my day, we're cleaning and we're talking to our loved ones, like, okay, that's normal. Okay, it's normal to cry in the car. It's cool. It's normal to go to a party and look around and be like, my mom's missing. My mom's not here. Because you're going to have those thoughts. As much as you're drinking and laughing and you could be the life of the party that day, in the back of your mind, that thought's there. Always.
Yeah.
But there's some days you could put it on the back burner and it doesn't take the back burner. And it doesn't take over that moment. It'll happen too. I just want people to know that um, it's waves. It's different. Every day's different. There's not like, okay, well, how they mentioned those 5 steps. You're going to go through those 5 steps. No, there's 5 steps. And then there's 10 more that you added that had nothing to do with my steps. And they were like, you go through that? I didn't do that. Or sometimes
Yeah.
like you guys write. I don't write. I'm not a writer or a reader. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should start to write. Maybe it'll help me. Things like that.
Yeah.
That's all I want, for people to walk away with a sense of relief, that I'm not alone. 3 other crazy girls like me crying it out, figuring it. And we just want to be there for you guys, just to be able to relate and reach out. As the strangers as we are, we might end up being close.
Yeah. And I know that today is a little bit more of an introduction just for our followers to know a little bit about us and get to know us a little. But if you guys stick with us, we're gonna be sharing a little bit more of our loved ones, a little bit more of their story, and so we can speak about them, and hopefully our followers will interact with us and let us know who their loved one is. We're just gonna honor them as much as we can while engaging with you guys, so you guys can join us in on this journey as well.
I agree. I would love to, if you would want to be a guest and you want to remember your loved one and you think this is a platform for you to feel better, reach out to us. We'd love to have you. We'd love to meet your loved one.
Yeah. That's when you know that we've created a successful platform, right? One of the things we wanted to know is how would you think, that this would be a successful podcast is when you've helped someone else, when you helped open that door for them to come and connect and share. Because there's some people that feel afraid to share. Maybe I'm not, and Jess is a little braver to do it, and Jasmine's, amazing at it, but maybe this will open them up and they'll feel like a heavy weight lift off of them.
I also feel it's like la cultura de nosotros. Death is such a big part of our life, and we said that before. Like, we have a day dedicated for it. It's el Día de los
Yeah.
Muertos, and it's coming up. Hacemos altares, and we put their favorite food. I mean, there's a movie, Coco, behind it. It's such an important part of our lives. Yet, when it comes to, we can't really, we could talk about it, but we can't talk about it. Like,
Right.
viene el birthday, and you have to be hush. It's 2 days the anniversary of, who.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I have to put it away because I can't be mourning my mom all day, every day. And I don't
Yeah.
want that. I want to talk about grief is normal. Grief is part of life. Grief is something we're all going to endure one day or the other.
Yeah.
Hopefully the circle of life is we're able to do it the way, which, like my mom was supposed to die, like in the circle of life, but I wasn't ready when she did it. Um, That's what I want, for everybody to talk about their loved one without feeling guilty, without feeling judged, without doing it secretly. Like, you know what? Today's not a good day for me. I miss Ernie. I miss my mom. I miss Marta. Or like the other day, we're talking about Marta's mom, how she would secretly call Rodolfo porque le tenía la carne de cabeza and to come pick it up before everybody got there, because like those are the moments you don't forget, and we're cracking up and sometimes I even thought, like, do I text her and tell her? And I'm like, no, I don't want to have her to have a bad day or trigger her, but things like that, like I want to bring it up. Like, guess what I was thinking about today? Your mom or Ernie.
Yeah.
That's what we want on this platform, is for everybody to feel, especially our culture, que no se sientan como que ya no podemos hablar de la muerte. We can. It's a very important part of our life. And the more we embrace it, the more we understand it, I think the more off we're all going to be.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And we have tons of topics that we want to talk about. Obviously, today we're keeping it more a little bit of an introduction about us, but stay tuned because we have some funny stuff that we want to talk about too, like good memory, things that make us laugh. These people shouldn't say, "A mejor no digas eso," you know what I mean? So just stay tuned with us. We hope that you guys enjoyed listening to us today. We're able to connect with us. We really appreciate you sitting with us. Thank you for listening to our IQSAT podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and share and subscribe. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at IQSAT. Until next time, gracias for sitting with us.
And let's thank
Thanks.
all those people that followed us in the beginning, that are on bandwagons, that have reposted us, that believe in us, that have been waiting, that have been asking. You are the people I want to thank because, we didn't know where this is we don't know where this is going. It's our first podcast, but just feeling that little community within our friends and our families. Thank you guys for sharing because this is new. We're not professionals. We're three girls living. And for you guys to be excited and like, hey, when's your episode? I appreciate you. And I hope that the first episode intrigued you to stay tuned.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I want to thank everyone who actually listened to the entire episode because it is our first one. So be like Jessica said, be nice. Be nice. But I promise this is something really heartfelt. It's something that means a lot to us. And we're gonna speak from the heart. We're gonna speak babosadas, you name it. I mean, that's just we're a bunch of payasos at the same time that are missing our loved ones, but we're here to stay. Y aunque no nos escuchen, aquí vamos a estar hablando las tres solas.
I
So thank you for tuning in.
have one follower. It's Gigi, but I have her.
Your
Yes.
number one fan.
I'll take advantage and say once we hit 500 followers and subscribers, we want to do a giveaway. We'll be having some merch, so stay tuned for that. There's a little sneak peek of it here. I'll show. Can you guys see that?
Yes. Love it.
So we got hats, mugs, koozies, and shirts. We got our shirts. Everybody has their shirt on, girls. Hat. So stay tuned. We hope that you guys enjoyed. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll be posting every other Monday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.